Hello, everyone, and welcome to Source ZeroCon. We sincerely appreciate your presence today and the valuable insights you have gained from the previous sessions. I would like to express my gratitude for your attendance and participation in my presentation. Today, I will be discussing securing your AWS cloud, best practices, and pen testing. This topic aims to provide you with essential insights and practical guidance on how to ensure the security of your AWS environment. Let's dive into the world of AWS security together. Thank you for joining me on this journey. My name is Prasad Nadkarni. I am an application security consultant on Optiv's application security team, and I have been working with Optiv for over 7 years now, and in the information security field for 9 years. Throughout my career, I have developed a deep passion for ensuring the security of applications and systems. I hold the CISSP certification. Additionally, I have a Master of Science in Information Assurance. At Optiv, I have had the privilege of working with diverse clients, helping them secure their applications and protect their valuable assets. I have been involved in various challenging projects, leveraging my expertise to identify vulnerabilities, implement security controls, and provide recommendations to enhance their overall security posture. In my role as a consultant, too, I have worked closely with organizations to assess their security needs, develop customized strategies, and assist in implementing robust security measures. My goal is to not only address immediate security concerns, but also foster a culture of security awareness and proactive risk management. I am excited to be here today and share my knowledge and experiences with you. I look forward to engaging in fruitful discussions, answering your questions, and exploring ways to strengthen our collective understanding of application security. Thank you for your attention, and I'm eager to connect with each one of you throughout this presentation. Today, I would like to address a topic of utmost importance in our increasingly digital world, the significance of cloud security. As organizations embrace cloud computing for its scalability, flexibility, and cost effectiveness, it becomes imperative to understand and prioritize the security of data and applications in the cloud. The cloud offers tremendous opportunities, but it also introduces unique risks and vulnerabilities. This is why robust cloud security measures are critical. Safeguarding sensitive information, maintaining regulatory compliance, and protecting against cyber threats are paramount in today's interconnected landscape. Allow me to provide a brief overview of the AWS Cloud, one of the leading cloud service providers. AWS or Amazon Web Services offer a comprehensive suite of services designed to empower organizations in their cloud journey. With AWS, you gain access to a vast array of computing power, versatile storage options, efficient database management tools, and powerful networking capabilities. AWS boasts a global presence with multiple regions and availability zones across the globe. This ensures high availability and disaster recovery, allowing your applications to remain accessible even in the face of unforeseen circumstances. Scalability is another remarkable aspect of AWS. With its elastic resources, you can easily scale up or down based on your organization's need. Whether you experience a sudden surge in demand or need to optimize resources during quieter periods, AWS provides the flexibility to adapt seamlessly. The AWS cloud adheres to the highest security standards and leverages industry best practices. It offers a secure and compliant environment featuring encryption, identity and access management, and robust network security. AWS holds numerous certifications demonstrating their commitment to data protection and privacy. By leveraging AWS services, you only pay for the resources you consume without the need for substantial upfront investments in infrastructure. This enables organizations to optimize cost, allocate resources efficiently, and focus on innovation and growth. I want to shed light on a crucial aspect of securing the AWS cloud, the AWS shared responsibility model. In this digital era where cloud computing plays a pivotal role in our organizations, understanding this model is paramount to ensure the protection of our infrastructure and data. So, what exactly is the AWS shared responsibility model? It is a framework that outlines the division of security responsibilities between AWS as a cloud service provider and customers like yourselves. It establishes a clear understanding of who is responsible for what when it comes to securing a cloud environment. AWS as a cloud service provider bears significant security responsibilities. They take care of the security of underlying infrastructures, including the physical data centers, networks, and even implementing robust physical security measures. AWS also provides a range of security services and features, from encryption services to identity and access management tools. They equip customers with the means to enhance the security of their applications and data. However, the AWS shared responsibility model also places important security responsibilities on the customers themselves. As customers, it falls on you to secure your data and applications within the AWS cloud. You're responsible for managing access to AWS resources, configuring and managing the security settings of the services you use, and implementing best practices and controls within your applications. It is in your hands to ensure that your data is protected and your applications are resilient to security threats. But let's not forget the collaborative nature of this model. AWS provides you with the foundation, the expertise, and resources, but it's a joint effort to secure your cloud environment. By understanding and leveraging the security measures provided by AWS, you can effectively protect your applications and data. Regularly monitoring and updating security configurations is essential to maintain a robust defense against evolving threats. Now, let's talk about the benefits of AWS shared responsibility model. By leveraging this model, customers can tap into the extensive expertise and resources of AWS while focusing on their specific security requirements. AWS's global infrastructures, advanced security services, and compliance frameworks empower customers to safeguard their cloud environment without bearing the entire burden of securing the underlying infrastructure. This collaboration allows customers to navigate the cloud landscape with confidence and protect their organizations from emerging threats. In this slide, we'll explore some essential security practices and provide relevant examples to illustrate their importance. First and foremost, strong access control and IAM policies play a vital role in securing your AWS resources. By enforcing the principle of least privilege, you limit access to only those who truly require it. For instance, creating separate IAM roles for administrators, developers, and other personnel ensures that they have appropriate permissions based on their responsibilities. Regularly patching and updating AWS services is another critical practice. Outdated versions of services can contain vulnerabilities that can be exploited by attackers. Setting up automated patching schedules and leveraging AWS Systems Manager can help ensure that your infrastructure remains up to date and secure. Data encryption is essential for protecting sensitive information both at rest and in transit. By utilizing encryption mechanisms such as server-side encryption in Amazon S3 with AES 256 encryption or AWS KMS managed keys, you add an extra layer of security even if the data is compromised. Implementing network security measures is crucial for protecting your AWS resources. Amazon VPC allows you to create isolated network environments, and configuring security groups is essential for controlling inbound and outbound traffic. By setting up strict rules that allow only necessary traffic, you can prevent unauthorized access. Lastly, monitoring and logging are vital for detecting and responding to security incidents. Enabling AWS CloudTrail to capture and log API activities provides valuable audit trails for investigating any unauthorized actions. Additionally, utilizing AWS CloudWatch allows you to set up alarms and notifications based on predefined metrics, enabling early detection of any unusual or suspicious behavior. By following these practices, you can strengthen the security of your AWS environment and reduce the risk of unauthorized access, data breaches, and other security incidents. Remember, these practices are not static. Regularly review and update your security measures to adapt to emerging threats and changes in your environment. Conducting periodic pen testing is crucial to identify any vulnerabilities and ensure the continuous protection of your AWS cloud infrastructures. In the realm of securing AWS infrastructures, there are five essential components that deserve our attention. Today, I would like to discuss these components and their crucial role in maintaining a robust and secure AWS environment. The first component is identity and access management, commonly known as IAM. IAM allows organizations to manage user identities and their access to AWS resources. By defining granular permissions and access controls, IAM ensures that only authorized individuals can access sensitive resources and perform specific actions within the AWS environment. IAM acts as a fundamental building block for establishing a strong security foundation. Next, we have Virtual Private Cloud or VPC. VPC enables organizations to create a logically isolated network within the AWS cloud. It provides control over IP addressing, subnets, routing, and security. With VPC, you can design and configure a network architecture that reflects your unique security requirements. It prevents unauthorized access from external sources and allows you to establish secure connections between your on-premises infrastructure and the AWS cloud. Security groups and network access control lists constitute another vital infrastructure component. Security group acts as a virtual firewalls at the instance level, controlling inbound and outbound traffic. NACLs, on the other hand, operate as at the subnet level, filtering traffic between subnets. By configuring security groups and NACLs, you can define precise rules and restrictions, thereby enhancing the security posture of your AWS infrastructures. The fourth infrastructure component is the AWS Web Application Firewall, also known as WAF. WAF provides an additional layer of protection for your web applications. It allows you to define rules to filter and block malicious traffic, safeguarding your applications from common web-based attacks such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and more. By leveraging WAF, you enhance the security of your web application and mitigate the risk of potential vulnerabilities. Lastly, we have the AWS Shield, a service designed to provide protection against distributed denial of service attacks. DDoS attacks can disrupt your applications and impact the availability of your services. AWS Shield helps defend against these attacks by automatically detecting and mitigating them, ensuring the continuity of your operations. With AWS Shield, you can rest assured knowing that your infrastructure is safeguarded from disruptive impact of DDoS attacks. As we delve deeper into securing AWS environments, it is essential to address a security of services themselves. Today, I would like to highlight 5 AWS services that are commonly used in cloud environments and discuss the importance of securing them effectively. The first service on our list is Amazon S3, also known as Simple Storage Service. S3 is a highly scalable and durable object storage service offered by AWS. It serves as a foundation for storing and retrieving vast amounts of data. Securing Amazon S3 involves implementing robust access controls such as IAM policies and bucket policies to restrict unauthorized access to your data. Additionally, enabling encryption at rest and in transit provides an extra layer of protection for your stored information. Next, we have Amazon EC2 or Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 offers a resizable compute capacity in the cloud, allowing you to quickly scale up or down based on the demand. Securing EC2 instances involves applying the principle of least privilege by configuring IAM roles and security groups. It's crucial to regularly patch and update your EC2 instances to protect against vulnerabilities and ensure the use of secure communication protocols. Moving on to Amazon RDS or Relational Database Service, this managed database service makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale a relational database in the cloud. When securing RDS, it's important to enable encryption at rest, implement strong access controls through IAM, and regularly apply database patches and updates. Regular database backups are also essential to mitigate the impact of potential data loss or corruption. AWS Lambda, our next service, provides serverless computing capabilities. With Lambda, you can run your code in response to events without provisioning or managing servers. Securing Lambda functions involves employing least privilege principles through IAM roles and policies, enabling encryptions for data at rest, and ensuring your function code adheres to secure coding practices to mitigate any potential vulnerabilities. Lastly, we have AWS API Gateway, which enables organizations to create, publish, and manage APIs securely at scale. When securing API gateway, it's important to implement authentication and authorization mechanisms such as API keys or IAM roles to control access to your APIs. Utilizing SSL TLS certificates for secure communication and implementing throttling and weight limiting helps protect your APIs from abuse and potential attacks. In this slide, I would like to discuss an integral aspect of securing your AWS environment: security, automation, and compliance. In our ever-evolving digital landscape, automating security processes and ensuring compliance with industry standards and regulations are paramount to maintaining a robust and secure cloud infrastructure. Let's begin by emphasizing the importance of automation tools and services for security in AWS. Automation plays a crucial role in streamlining security processes, enforcing best practices, and proactively monitoring and remediating security issues. AWS offers a range of powerful tools and services designed specifically for security automation. One such tool is AWS Config. AWS Config provides a detailed inventory of your AWS resources and tracks their configuration over time. This service allows you to assess the compliance of your AWS environment, detect and resolve configuration drift, and enforce security policies consistently across your resources. By leveraging AWS config, you can ensure that your infrastructure adheres to the desired configuration and promptly address any deviation. Another service is AWS CloudFormation. With AWS CloudFormation, you can define and provision your AWS infrastructure resources in a declarative manner using templates. By automating the deployment of resources, CloudFormation ensures consistency and eliminates manual configuration errors. This not only saves time but also enhances the security by enabling you to provision infrastructure in a secure and compliant manner consistently. AWS CloudTrail is yet another powerful tool for security automation. It provides comprehensive audit logs of all activities and API calls within your AWS accounts. These logs are instrumental in security monitoring, incident investigation, and compliance auditing. With CloudTrail, you can track changes, detect unauthorized access, and ensure accountability in your AWS environment. Now, let's shift our focus to ensuring compliance with industry standards and regulation. Compliance with regulations such as HIPAA and GDPR is crucial for protecting sensitive data and maintaining trust with customers. AWS understands the importance of compliance and offers a range of services and features to assist organizations in achieving compliance. For instance, AWS Artifact provides access to wide array of compliance reports and certifications, making it easier for organizations to understand security and compliance of AWS services. Additionally, AWS config rules enables you to define custom rules and monitor compliance against best practices and regulatory requirements specific to your industry. By leveraging automation tools and services such as AWS Config, AWS CloudFormation, and AWS CloudTrail, you can ensure a secure and compliant infrastructure in your AWS environment. Adhering to industry standards and regulations demonstrate your commitment to protecting sensitive data and maintaining customer trust. I would like to discuss the critical aspect of ensuring the security of AWS cloud environments, penetration testing. Penetration testing, also known as ethical hacking, is a proactive security assessment technique that simulates real-world attacks to identify vulnerabilities and assess the effectiveness of our security controls. First, let's define and understand the importance of penetration testing. Penetration testing involves emulating the mindset and techniques of malicious actors to uncover weaknesses in our systems, networks, or applications. By conducting these simulated attacks, we can identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses before they can be exploited by real attackers. This approach allows us to stay one step ahead and proactively address security risks, enhancing our overall security posture. Now let's explore the different types of penetration testing commonly employed. There are three main types: black box, white box, and gray box testing. Black box testing simulates an attacker with no prior knowledge of our systems. The tester has to discover vulnerabilities and gain unauthorized access through external methods, just like a real attacker would. This type of testing helps us understand how an external attacker might exploit our defenses. On the other hand, white box testing provides the tester with full knowledge of our system's internals and architecture. They have access to source code, network diagrams, and other relevant information. This allows us to assess the effectiveness of our internal security controls and configurations. Lastly, gray box testing is a hybrid approach where the tester has partial knowledge of our systems. It simulates an attacker with some insider knowledge, such as limited access to or information about the target environment. Gray box testing helps us evaluate the potential impact of insider threats or compromised accounts. Now let's discuss the benefits of conducting penetration testing specifically in AWS cloud environments. First, the scalability and flexibility of cloud environments makes it ideal platform for conducting pen testing. Furthermore, conducting pen testing in AWS cloud can be cost-effective compared to traditional on-premises infrastructures. This allows us to conduct more frequent testing and improve the security of systems on an ongoing basis. Another significant advantage is real-world simulation that AWS cloud environments offer. Test environments are created that closely mimic production environments, enabling us to simulate various attack vectors and scenarios. This helps us understand the potential impact of different threats and validate the effectiveness of security measures. Moreover, penetration testing in cloud environments helps in meeting compliance requirements by identifying vulnerabilities and addressing them proactively. We can demonstrate our commitment to protecting sensitive data and maintaining regulatory compliance. It provides assurance to stakeholders that appropriate security measures are in place to safeguard their information. In the context of securing a AWS cloud environment, penetration testing plays a crucial role in identifying vulnerabilities, assessing security controls, and ensuring the integrity of systems. Today, I would like to delve into the methodology that underlies effective penetration testing in AWS cloud environment. Uh, the first phase of pen testing methodology is planning and scoping. During this phase, we have defined the objectives and scope of penetration testing engagement. It is essential to understand the specific systems, applications, or assets that will be tested. Additionally, legal and compliance requirements must be taken into account. Involving stakeholders such as IT teams, developers, and system administrators ensures a comprehensive approach and better aligns the testing process with organization's goal. The next phase is reconnaissance and information gathering. This step involves gathering information about AWS cloud environment. Uh, we aim to understand the AWS cloud architecture, including VPCs, subnets, security groups, and other relevant components. Open source intelligence techniques and automated tools can be utilized to collect information about IP addresses, domain names, and infrastructure network. This reconnaissance phase provides us with solid foundation for subsequent testing activities. Vulnerability scanning and analysis form the core of next phase. We employ automated vulnerability scanning tools to identify potential security weakness in the AWS cloud environment. Once the scan is completed, the results are carefully analyzed. Prioritization of vulnerabilities based on severity is crucial. Additionally, mapping the identified vulnerabilities to corresponding AWS services or configuration helps us understand the potential risk and develop appropriate mitigation strategies. A combination of commercial and open source vulnerability scanning tools ensures comprehensive coverage. With the vulnerabilities identified, we move on to exploitation and privilege escalation phase. Controlled exploitation of identified vulnerabilities allows us to assess their impact and potential consequences. These phase involves attempting to gain unauthorized access to AWS resources, escalate privileges, or compromise the integrity of cloud environment. It is important to conduct these activities ethically and responsibly with a thorough understanding of potential impact on the production environment. Lastly, we arrive at the reporting and remediation recommendations phase. Documenting the findings is essential to provide a clear and concise report. The report includes detailed information about the identified vulnerabilities, their impact, and any successful exploitation attempts. It also contains comprehensive remediation and recommendations for addressing the identified vulnerabilities. These recommendations should be clear, actionable, and supported by evidence and mitigation strategies. A well-structured report helps stakeholders understand the risk, prioritize remediation efforts, and implement effective security measures. In our pursuit of securing AWS cloud environments, it is essential to employ the right tools and techniques for effective penetration testing. Today, I will discuss the available AWS pen testing tools, the importance of infrastructure scanning and vulnerability assessments, and other techniques that enhance the overall testing process. Let's begin by exploring the range of AWS pen testing tools available to us. These tools are specifically designed to assess the security of our AWS cloud environments. We have a variety of options at our disposal, including both open source and commercial tools. In this section, we will explore some of the powerful pen testing tools that can be utilized to assess the security of AWS environments. The first tool we'll be discussing is Linus. It's an open source security auditing tool that performs system hardening, vulnerability scanning, and compliance checks. With Linus, you can assess the security of your AWS instances, receive detailed recommendation for remediation, and leverage its capabilities to identify misconfiguration and vulnerabilities. Next on our list is PACU. This AWS exploitation framework helps security professionals identify and exploit vulnerabilities in AWS environments. It offers support for numerous AWS services and allows users to simulate real-world attack scenarios, thus enhancing their pentesting skills and fortifying the security of their AWS infrastructures. Scout 2 is another significant tool. It's a security auditing tool that assesses the security posture of AWS environments. Scout 2 automates checks across various AWS services such as EC2, S3, and IAM. It identifies misconfiguration, provides actionable recommendation, and ensures that your AWS infrastructure remains secure and compliant. Cloud Mapper is a tool designed to visualize and analyze the network infrastructure of AWS environments. It generates interactive diagrams that offer insights into security vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. By utilizing Cloud Mapper, you gain a comprehensive understanding of your AWS network architecture, enabling you to strengthen security management. CloudSploit is a powerful security and compliance monitoring tool for AWS. It assesses security configuration, identifies risk, and generates detailed reports on compliance with industry standards. With CloudSploit, you can proactively monitor your AWS infrastructure, identify potential security issues, and maintain a robust security posture. Scout Suite is an open source security auditing tool specifically built for AWS environments. It automates security checks across a wide range of AWS services, including EC2, S3, and IAM. By using Scout Suite, you can easily identify misconfigurations, compliance violations, and security risks, empowering you to take swift remedial actions. AWS Inspector is a service dedicated to identifying vulnerabilities and security issues in AWS environments. It performs automated security assessments by analyzing the network, host, and application layers. AWS Inspector integrates with other AWS services, providing you with a comprehensive security solution. AWS Macy is a service that helps discover, classify, and protect sensitive data stored in your AWS environment. By utilizing machine learning algorithms, Macy can identify personally identifiable information and other sensitive data. It plays a crucial role in data privacy and compliance efforts. Prowler is another valuable tool to consider. It is a CIS benchmark scanning tool for AWS that helps you assess your AWS accounts against best practices and security benchmarks. Prowler provides a comprehensive set of checks covering various aspects of AWS security and compliance, allowing you to identify and address potential vulnerabilities. Lastly, we have CloudGoat and AWS Goat. These intentionally vulnerable AWS environments serve as training ground for honing pentesting skills. They provide simulated real-world scenarios where users can practice identifying and exploiting vulnerabilities in a safe and a controlled manner. These are just few of the many powerful tools available for AWS pen testing. Each tool brings unique features and capabilities to the table, enabling you to thoroughly assess and fortify your AWS infrastructure security. Next, let's delve into importance of infrastructure scanning within the realm of AWS pen testing. Infrastructure scanning plays a critical role in identifying misconfiguration, insecure defaults, and potential security gaps within our AWS environment. It enables us to detect vulnerabilities and weaknesses that could be exploited by malicious actors. We have access to powerful tools like CloudSuite, Prowler, and CloudMapper that provide automated scanning of AWS infrastructures. These tools help us assess the security posture of our AWS resources, generate detailed reports, and identify areas for improvement. In addition to infrastructure scanning, vulnerability assessments are a vital component of effective AWS pen testing. Vulnerability assessment focus on identifying weakness in AWS resources, applications, and configurations. By performing vulnerability scans on AWS assets, we can discover potential vulnerabilities that may be present. Tools such as OpenVAS, Nexpose, OASZAP aid in conducting vulnerability assessments, allowing us to identify and prioritize vulnerabilities based on their severity and potential impact on our environment. These assessments provide valuable insights for remediation and risk mitigation. It is crucial to consider other techniques that complement our AWS pen testing endeavors. While tools provide significant support, manual testing methodologies should not be overlooked. Manual code review, configuration reviews, and privilege escalation techniques help us uncover vulnerabilities that may not be detectable by automated tools alone. Additionally, conducting web application pen testing and API security assessments is essential to identify vulnerabilities specific to AWS resources like Amazon S3, Amazon EC2, and AWS Lambda. By combining automated tools with manual testing techniques, we can ensure comprehensive coverage and gain deep understanding of AWS environment security posture. Throughout the pen testing process, it's vital to adhere to best practices, consider certain aspects. Obtaining proper authorization before conducting any testing is essential to ensure legal and compliance requirements are met. Maintaining open communication with AWS support can provide guidance and assistance throughout the testing engagement. Adhering to ethical guidelines, including responsible disclosure of identified vulnerabilities, protects both organizations and wider community. Throughout documentation, secure handling of sensitive information and appropriate storage of test results are also critical considerations for maintaining confidentiality and integrity of testing process. In this slide, we'll be discussing the common security findings that were identified during assessment of AWS environments. These findings shed light on potential vulnerabilities and risks that need to be addressed to ensure the security and integrity of AWS environment. The first finding is related to insecure data storage. Storing sensitive data in unsecured or publicly accessible locations such as S3 buckets or databases can expose the data to unauthorized access. It is essential to ensure to secure these storage repositories and implement proper access controls to protect the confidentiality of your data. Another significant finding is presence of unencrypted data. Failing to encrypt sensitive data puts it at a risk of being accessed by unauthorized parties. Implementing encryption measures both for data at rest and in transit is crucial to safeguard sensitive information from potential threats. Unused IAM users and roles within the environment were also identified. These unused accounts and roles can become an entry point for attackers if not properly managed. It is recommended to regularly review and remove any unnecessary or unused IAM entities to mitigate potential risk. Furthermore, vulnerabilities were discovered in third-party softwares used in AWS environment. These vulnerabilities can be exploited by attackers to gain unauthorized access. It is crucial to keep third-party software up to date and apply necessary patches and security updates to mitigate potential risks. Insecure API keys were another finding of concern. Inadequately securing API keys can result in unauthorized access to your AWS resources. It is essential to implement proper access controls, monitor API key usage, and regularly rotate keys to prevent unauthorized access. The assessment also revealed instances of insecure passwords. Weak or easily guessable passwords can compromise the security of your AWS environment. It is imperative to enforce strong password policies and educate users about passwords best practices to mitigate the risk of another unauthorized access. Insecure network traffic was another critical finding. Inadequate network security measures can expose sensitive data to interruption interception and unauthorized access. Implementing secure network configurations such as using encryption and implementing secure protocols is vital to protect your data from potential threats. Misconfiguration in AWS services were also identified during the assessment. Misconfigured services can create security vulnerabilities that can be exploited by attackers. Regularly reviewing and validating your service configurations will help ensure secure AWS environment. Insufficient logging and monitoring practices were also observed. Inadequate logging and monitoring can hinder detection and response to security incidents. Implementing robust logging mechanisms and establishing a comprehensive monitoring strategy will enable timely detection and response to potential security events. Instances of misconfigured access controls were also found. Improperly configured access controls, such as overly permissive IAM policies or incorrect S3 bucket permissions, can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive data or resources. It is crucial to review and update assess access controls to adhere to principle of least privilege. Instances of overly permissive roles and permissions were also discovered. Assigning excessive privileges to users or roles can result in unauthorized access to critical resources. Regularly reviewing and fine-tuning rule and permission assignments will help maintain a secure AWS environment. In this slide, I would like to discuss the crucial aspects of pentesting considerations and best practices in context of AWS. When conducting penetration testing on AWS infrastructure, it is important to adhere to certain guidelines and standards to ensure a successful and secure pentesting process. In this regard, I will address the two key areas: obtaining proper authorization and permissions, as well as safeguarding sensitive data during testing. First and foremost, obtaining proper authorization and permissions is essential when conducting pentesting on AWS. It is imperative to obtain explicit written authorization from owners or stakeholders of AWS resources being tested. This authorization should clearly define scope and limitations of engagement, including specific AWS services, regions, and testing methodologies. Effective communication channels should be established with AWS account owners, system administrators, security teams to ensure coordination and avoid any disruptions to the AWS environment. Moving on to safeguarding sensitive data during testing, AWS pen testers must handle such data with utmost care and diligence. Explicit consent and agreement should be obtained from stakeholders regarding the handling and protection of any sensitive data residing within the AWS infrastructure. During the testing process, it's important to implement necessary safeguards to protect sensitive information. This includes data encryption, anonymization, or obfuscation techniques to ensure the security and confidentiality of the data. Compliance with relevant data protection regulations such as GDPR or HIPAA is crucial when dealing with personally identifiable information or sensitive customer data. It is equally important to securely store any collected data and artifacts and ensure that they are not accessible to unauthorized individuals. In addition to these considerations, it is vital to adhere to legal and ethical guidelines when conducting AWS pen testing. Pen testers should operate within boundaries of law and comply with AWS terms of service and usage policies. Maintaining professionalism and integrity is of utmost importance throughout the testing process. Respecting the confidentiality of any vulnerabilities or weaknesses discovered within the AWS environment is crucial. Establishing non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality agreements with the AWS account owner or stakeholders helps protect sensitive information and maintain trust. Documentation and reporting play a pivotal role in AWS pentesting engagements. Thorough documentation is essential, encompassing detailed notes, logs, screenshots, and any relevant evidence. At the conclusion of the testing, a comprehensive and concise report should be prepared. These reports should outline the testing methodologies, findings, and identified vulnerabilities and the recommended remediation steps. It is important to communicate the results and recommendations in a clear and understandable manner to both technical and non-technical stakeholders. As with any pen testing engagement, the confidentiality of report must be maintained, sharing it only with authorized personnel. By allowing these AWS pen testing considerations and best practices, uh, we ensure a well-structured, secure, and effective testing process. Obtaining proper authorization and permissions, safeguarding sensitive data, complying with legal and ethical guidelines, and thorough documentation reporting are key elements for successful AWS pen testing engagement. In this segment of our presentation, we delve into the crucial aspects of reporting and follow-up in the context of AWS cloud pen testing. After conducting a pen testing engagement on AWS platform, it's vital to effectively communicate the results and ensure proper follow-up activities and remediation. Today, we'll discuss the best practices for pen test reporting and document findings, as well as highlight the importance of follow-up activities. When it comes to pen test reporting, clear and concise communication is paramount. The purpose of report is to effectively convey the findings of engagement to stakeholders. It is essential to document the testing methodologies employed, including the tools and techniques used, as well as the scope of engagement. This provides necessary context for understanding of findings. The report should comprehensively document all identified vulnerabilities, their severity levels, and any supporting evidence or proof of concept demonstrations. By providing detailed recommendation for remediation, including specific steps or actions to mitigate the identified vulnerabilities, to empower the stakeholders to take immediate actions to address the security gaps. Additionally, including screenshots, logs, and other relevant artifacts strengthens the report by providing visual evidence to support the findings and recommendations. It is crucial to tailor the report to the intended audience, ensuring that the technical details are presented in clear and understandable manner for both technical and non-technical stakeholders. Moving on to follow-up activities and remediations, they are of utmost importance in ensuring the security and integrity of AWS environment. Following the completion of pen testing engagement, it is imperative to collaborate with account owners, or relevant stakeholders to address the identified vulnerabilities. Prompt and effective communication is key during this phase. Prioritizing the remediation efforts based on severity and potential impact of vulnerabilities allows for a targeted and efficient approach. Ongoing coordination and updates between the Pentesting team and AWS account owner or stakeholders are essential for tracking progress and ensuring that remediation measures are effectively implemented. Conducting a retest or validation after remediation actions have been taken allows for thorough assessment of security measures and ensures their effectiveness. This validates the efforts taken to address the identified vulnerabilities and provides assurance to the stakeholders. Throughout the process, maintaining a documented trail of remediation efforts and tracking the progress of addressing the identified vulnerability is crucial for accountability and continuous improvement. Today, we have explored the crucial aspects of securing your AWS cloud environment and conducting effective pen testing. Let's recap the key points we have covered through the presentations. We started by understanding shared responsibility model of AWS, which emphasizes joint responsibility between AWS and customers for ensuring cloud security of our cloud infrastructures. We then delve into importance of cloud security and benefits of using AWS. The scalability, flexibility, and wide array of services offered by AWS make it ideal choice for organizations, but it's imperative to prioritize security to protect sensitive data and ensure the continuity of operations. Next, we explored the core components of securing AWS in infrastructures, from implementing strong identity and access management policies to configuring virtual private cloud and employing security groups and network access control risks. We examined the key elements to safeguard foundational infrastructures. We discussed securing AWS services by following best practices such as enabling encryption, properly configuring access controls, and monitoring these services. We can enhance the security of AWS environments. Automation and compliance were also highlighted as critical aspects. We then explored the essentials of conducting effective pen testing by obtaining proper authorization, safeguarding sensitive data during testing, and following best practices for reporting and remediation. Organizations can identify vulnerabilities and strengthen their security postures. And finally, we discussed the significance of regularly updating and patching AWS services, implementing strong access controls, enforcing encryption for data at rest and in transit, monitoring and logging for security incidents, and ensuring proper network security measures. In conclusion, securing AWS cloud environment is of paramount importance in today's digital landscape. By implementing the best practices we discussed, conducting regular pen testing, and staying updated with the latest security measures and tools, we can protect our data, maintain compliance, and mitigate potential risk. In this slide, I've compiled a list of recommended resources that will serve as valuable references for your further learning and exploration of securing your AWS cloud environment. These resources include white papers, documentation, and useful tools that can deepen your understanding and help you navigate the intricacies of AWS security. Thank you for your attention to our presentation on securing your AWS cloud environment to best practices and pen testing. We've covered a range of important topics from understanding the responsibility model to exploring various tools and techniques for assessing the security of your AWS infrastructures. I hope that you have gained valuable insights into the significance of pen test reporting for your activities in cloud environments. I am happy to address any further questions you have. Thank you.